It's Outside Land, San Francisco, the podcast of the Western Neighborhoods Project. I'm Woody LaBounty.
And I'm David Gallagher.
David!
Yes, Woody. Second time they got it.
Yeah, the kids are very loud tonight.
They're alive.
They're alive.
We're here at the Presidio Officers Club and the Presidio.
Yeah, and we're very thankful the Presidio Trust is having us here as part of one of their monthly programs. I guess they had nothing better to put into the place, but we're happy for the opportunity.
And we were able to bring in all 12 of our listeners.
Yeah, they're over there in that little club there.
They raised their hands earlier.
They did. So let's just get into it. So last week, David, I gave a little clue, which I do at the end of every podcast. I gave a preview for the next week. And I said we're going to get a cup of coffee with a K.
And I thought, it's one of those special machines with a little cup that you plug in and it's very wasteful.
Yeah.
And you throw a plastic cup away.
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
No, I really thought you knew what we were going to talk about. So now I'm a little disappointed. We're going to talk here. I'll show you a picture. I'll show the people live a picture. Not that. That's our website. There's our website. That's not it. Hold on. It's here somewhere. This thing. Today, we're going to talk about the Koffee Kup.
That great Richmond District institution that's now gone.
That's right. It was an institution. And this is actually why we decided to talk about this is essentially we saw a number of pictures that show this giant, long neon sign on Geary Boulevard at this restaurant next to the old Alexandria Theater.
18th and Geary.
Right. And a lot of people here may remember the Alexandria Theater, or at least they've driven by the decaying hulk of a movie theater that's still there today. Yeah. But they don't remember the Koffee Kup. And I was curious, what the heck was the Koffee Kup with a K?
Right.
K for coffee, K for cup.
What was it? It was a nightclub.
Well, we got 20 minutes to talk about it, so
okay,
I'll tell you.
I don't want to give it away.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to talk about the Koffee Kup today, David. First of all, where, and I kind of said this, where was the Koffee Kup?
Well, it's just west of 18th Avenue on Geary Boulevard. The address, 5424 Geary Boulevard. That's where Joe's Ice Cream is now.
Right. If you're in the Richmond District and you go to Joe's Ice Cream, that's where the Koffee Kup was. It opened in 1924, and this is kind of a funny thing because I thought when I'd see ads for the Koffee Kup and kind of people talking about the Koffee Kup, it seemed like it was a nightclub.
Yeah.
And like salacious sort of things happened in there.
Well, they didn't do things like that in 1924.
I know, because it's prohibition, right? So that's the thing. I'm like, is it like Koffee Kup, but put a little Irish in your coffee cup? Right? That's what I was thinking, that maybe it was a little speakeasy or something.
Is that what you thought?
Yes.
Were you right?
No.
Yeah.
So, it turns out it was a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And that's the end of our shortest podcast.
Thank you very much for coming.
No, there's more to it. There's more to this.
Okay, all right.
So, it opens in 1924, and it will not surprise you that the Alexandria Theater had opened November 26th, 1923.
Yeah.
So just before.
Right. Maybe just around Thanksgiving, 1923, the Alexandria opens.
Right.
And of course, back then a neighborhood theater like that and a big neighborhood theater like the Alexandria would be a draw, a central place for that sort of neighborhood, right? So other businesses would start up around there.
Yeah, so it gets a lot of foot traffic. People are going to stop in at the Koffee Kup and get a little dinner or some coffee or something, right? So in 1924, Martin F. Ross, who has a great sort of backstory, opens the Koffee Kup. And he grew up in the Bowery of New York City. He was orphaned at 10 years old. He works as a busboy in a Coney Island roadhouse. And he basically makes his way in the world as this sort of urchin, and he starts going into restaurant business.
Okay, yeah, and he was a childhood friend of John Friedel.
And who is John Friedel?
John Friedel, does anybody know? John Friedel was a guy who started the Chutes at the Beach, which became Playland.
Yeah.
Anybody remember Playland?
Nobody remembers Playland. Yeah. So those two were buddies, and he starts this, and he wrote an article, he wrote a little did an interview about 1928, and he said, I rented space at 5424 Gary Street because at that time rents were low, and I also had faith in the Richmond district, which we all have faith in the Richmond district.
It's a growing neighborhood.
Yeah. Having leased the restaurant, it was necessary to give it a name, so I decided to name it after one of my hobbies. Really good coffee.
Now that part does not ring true to me.
No, are you kidding? That part totally is true today. I mean, there's many people who would probably have coffee as a hobby, right? It's like you have to have coffee. It's like a thing that your life revolves around.
Also Prohibition was in effect.
Right. So coffee was like what he could serve.
Yeah.
That's probably true. So it was a big hit. He opens the Koffee Kup, and at first he has one room.
Yeah.
And he expands it quickly to like 3 rooms, and then he builds a 2nd floor banquet hall, kind of in the back.
Oh, really?
And it's just like full all the time.
Is that still there? Is the building still the same?
No, it's not. I mean, it kind of looks the same, but it's been changed. Hold on, I got a picture or two. So for the people here who are seeing this and not listening, there's actually a little caricature of Martin Ross up there with the Koffee Kup ad. And on the other side is a sketch of what the Koffee Kup looked like in 1928 inside. And it's got these nice tall booths. I think I'd love to go to the Koffee Kup actually. Sit there in one of those tall booths, kind of a coffee saloon, and sit there and have a little conversation with, I don't know, a secret agent or something. It kind of looks like that, over in the corner.
Yeah. I mean, definitely do some rendezvousing there.
Yeah, it's a rendezvous, exactly. You've got it, you've got the thing. So it's a big hit, and it grows. It's a bakery. He bakes his own goods there. They have the soda fountain. 375 people can fit in the place.
That's big, but they served food. They had bread, and they must have had a restaurant.
They did. It was food too. We have a menu from the Koffee Kup, and we'll talk a little bit about what they serve there. He does so well. He buys the lot that he's renting there for almost $100,000 in 1929. Yeah.
It's Richmond District prices, right?
Yeah, but also just before the crash.
Yeah.
So not so great. But luckily, if anything is going to do well in the Depression, it's like little restaurants and coffee shops. Because people, they can't afford a lot of things, but they often will go out and have like a cup of coffee for a dime or whatever, right?
Yeah, and I guess he already had a leg up because all the bars started serving coffee when Prohibition was already in effect.
Yeah. So it was a big meeting place for neighborhood groups, fraternal organizations. A lot of Jewish groups actually met there. It might have been because of him. The Junior Zionists and Cultural Club would have their weekly meeting there. The George Washington American Legion, the Merchants Association, everybody went there.
But, I see one I have a list here, and it's the San Francisco Striped Bass Club.
Yes. The San Francisco Striped Bass Club.
Only more clubs.
Yeah, well, there was tons of clubs in the 20s and 30s and 40s even. It was like that social capital they always talk about.
We're going to have to do a podcast on the San Francisco Striped Bass Club.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We've done over 250 episodes.
And we've run out of topics, you say. So Ross is doing pretty good in the 30s, but then tragically in 1934, he dies of a heart attack at age 44. Yeah. I hope you got that. Did you get that, the audience going, whoa? Okay, no, that's fine. So suddenly it's all, his estate is up for grabs, but he makes a will just before he dies.
Yeah.
And he controversially, yeah, it was a big problem.
Yeah.
He gives the Koffee Kup to 2 employees.
Oh, did he have any family?
He did.
Oh,
but he gives it 60% of the Koffee
Kup.
Yes, 60% of the Koffee Kup to a cashier with a K. And she enjoyed that. She thought that was great. And a manager got 20%. And the rest was supposed to be split among charities.
Okay.
So the will gets contested, and eventually it all does kind of pan out. But the estate they have to sell the Koffee Kup to get the money. So Who buys the coffee cup, David?
Well, I think who buys a coffee cup is who we always associate. We always associate the coffee cup, of course, with Will King.
Yeah, Will King. And it becomes Will King's coffee cup. And I guess because he has a K in his name, that's why. But Will King was a very well-known, and this is the thing about the fleeting, effervescence of celebrity, right?
I think he was kind of a vaudeville burlesque sort of performer, traveling, doing variety acts and things.
Yeah, he was called the King of Hebrew Monologue. The King of Hebrew Monologue. He was a Jewish comedian. And he was also called the Ziegfeld of the West because he would produce these reviewsicles, which were like, they were called girl and giggle reviews, where he'd have like 40 women all dressed up in like showgirl outfits, and they would do little dances. And
he wasn't the only talented one in the family, though.
No, he wasn't.
His wife played the musical saw.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, she did. She played the musical saw. His brother, Hermie, played piano. And they basically went up and down the West Coast doing vaudeville and sort of shows before movies would start.
So when Will King bought the coffee cup, this is what I assume, he was just kind of tired of going up and down the West Coast and decided to become the great host of this Richmond District institution.
Right. He had a restaurant downtown called Will King's RKO Grill.
Okay.
And then he bought this place.
Yeah.
And then his timing is pretty good because he buys it in like 36. Prohibition's over.
Yeah.
Now you can serve alcohol.
Yeah.
And he opens a cocktail bar inside the coffee cup, and he calls it the Rumpus Room. Sounds good, right? They have piano. Hermie plays the piano. They have little musical numbers.
Do we have that one?
Well, we've got Will up there.
Yeah.
And this is the grand.
Because later ads say, join Hermie in the Rumpus Room.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there was this musician, he was like a country music guy, he was kind of famous in the 50s, called Rusty Draper. And he was like a guitarist. People might know Rusty Draper. Rusty Draper basically got his start in the Rumpus Room.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like 18 years old and had come out to San Francisco and was playing, doing musical sets at the Rumpus Room.
Does anybody remember Rusty Draper?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People remember Rusty.
Well, and he's still remembered today.
Yeah.
Unlike Will King.
Yeah, people forgot Will King, right? So what happens, David, to the coffee cup? Why isn't it there now? Why aren't we going and seeing Imagine Dragons there or whatever? I don't know. Whatever's a hot band today there.
You're asking me? Well, it closed in 1954. I guess, probably.
Wait, I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint.
Will King died.
Everybody dies sometimes.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah. Will King dies. The place closes in 1954.
Yeah, he actually dies a few years later, but he gets in ill health, and he gives it up, and it becomes a place called the Piano Bar.
Okay.
For a while. And one little thing about this, all the cashier, Martin Ross, Will King, all these people we're talking about,
Yeah.
they all live within like 4 blocks of the coffee cup.
Richmond District, am I right?
Yeah, it's like in those days you worked really close to, or you lived really close to your work.
Yeah.
It's not like you go to Oakland to go to work or whatever. It's like people live right in the neighborhood.
Yeah, or live in Noe Valley and work in the Richmond District.
Yeah. So here's a 1942 view just to show you the color scheme of the coffee cup. There's this bright red for the people here. And that's essentially the story. I basically am just sad, like I always am at the end of every podcast, that the coffee cup isn't there anymore for us to go visit.
Yeah. I don't, it is sad. But
David is not sad.
This podcast are bringing it back to life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. Well, hopefully people can write in if they remember the coffee cup. It was a while ago now, but maybe people will write in because, David,
Yeah.
now it's time for listener mail. Usually there's a jingle, but it's okay. The yay's good too. David, we have some listener mail, but before we get into it, this question has come up like 3 times in the last 2 weeks. How do people contact us and send us listener mail?
It's funny. I always think about people listening to it through the website or looking at some screen, and some people just have it on a device and there's no other connection stuff. So I made a new email address, and I'm not going to tell anyone about it except listeners on the podcast. And that email address that you can contact us about the podcast is podcast@outsidelands.org.
Okay, podcast@outsidelands.org.
Yeah, so if I get any email about anything else, like, I don't even want to talk about what kind of mail I get to my regular address.
Okay, that's good. But we did get some mail, and we got a question on Twitter.
Oh, we got a question.
Which rarely happens, from Tim Van Ram. Is Tim Van Ram here? God, that guy follows us everywhere. Okay, he asks, should there be a space between law and bounty? Was it morphed into today's La Bounty? Should there be an emphasis on bounty? That's it. I guess
That's the whole question.
I guess he's just really fascinated with my last name.
Yeah.
No space between law and bounty.
Is there an intercap?
Yes, there is an intercap. Maybe we can do a podcast on it. You think it's my last name? It used to be La Bonté, by the way. I know, so French.
Usually we get better letters.
Wait. We got another letter. This is a good one. Harry Bernstein writes in, and he's talking about our City College podcast we had done. And in there, he mentions that David wondered aloud whether he, as a college graduate, was eligible for free City College. And I suggested that you might be able to take credit classes, but you might not get credit. And Harry writes in to reassure everybody that the requirement for free City College is only to have been a San Francisco resident for at least 1 year. So you can go and get free City College, David, and you can go and get credit even. And he actually says there's a good class right now called Save City College. It's an oral history class, well, it needs saving, but about the recent troubles that City College has gone through. But he says it's under-enrolled. So more people need to sign up for the class or it'll fail.
Sign up for the Save City College class and actually Save City College while you're enrolled.
Yeah, but you can go now.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean you can go, but I mean you can go to City College. Yeah.
All right.
Yay! So, David, now it's time for events. Yay! There is a jingle for that too, but I don't know how it goes.
Not tonight.
No. David, we have some events.
Yes, we do. What you wrote tonight's event into the events.
Well, we did it. Okay, now you go to the next one.
Okay. This is a big one. We have recently gotten a new location for our office. It's at 1617 Balboa Street, which is at 17th Avenue.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do there is store some of our collection and do public presentations and talks and have exhibits there. It's going to be really great. And Woody has put us under the gun to get it ready by Saturday, February 3rd, 2018. We're going to have an open house at our new location. So
that's noon to 4 on Saturday, February 3rd. You can drop by and maybe we'll have snacks.
Well, I hope that we'll at least have snacks. I mean, I don't know what else we're going to have, but...
And I don't know if we'll be all set looking all pretty inside, but you can at least see the space and we'll throw up something.
Yeah, and we encourage all of you here tonight to come. Everyone listening, I mean, everyone who listens to it is already here.
Yeah.
So,
good point.
And then we have another event after the week following.
Yeah, no,
this is
one of our member walks.
Yeah, okay.
And we have the amazing John Martini.
Yeah.
Who has
been on this exact stage.
Yeah, former National Park Service Ranger. He's going to lead a special member walk just for WMP members of Fort Funston.
Oh.
And you're going to learn about natural dune life, Nike missiles, hang gliders, dog walkers. I don't know. He's going to have all sorts of info.
Will you be able to go into some of the secret, deep, dark places there?
You may be. Maybe. He's got access. So that's Saturday, February 17th, 10 to noon. Go to the website and you can sign up if you're a member. If you're not a member, what can people do, David?
Well, If you listen to the website, you know you can become a member of the Western Neighbors Project by clicking the link at the top of any page.
Right. And what do they get for being a member? They get to go to walks.
You get to go on walks, get to go on special other member events. You get our beautiful magazine, which some of you might have picked up. That we have some sitting over on the table over there. That's it.
Yeah.
And you get the satisfaction of knowing that you're helping to tell the story of these neighborhoods that are often underreported.
Like Will King's Coffee Cup, nobody heard of that.
Yeah.
You know, we had to bring that up. So that's right. So go to outsidelands.org and click the Become a Member link.
Yeah.
And David, I have a preview for next week's podcast.
It's gonna be a little later, don't leave.
We actually are going to record it right here in a second. But we are going to swing into Golden Gate Park. Yeah. So I'll see you next week.
All right, I'll see you.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.